Welcome back. I have another video for you. I'm having a problem with my well pump today. Let me show you from a distance. It's got a well pump here in the yard. And what's happening is, when I take a shower, all the water will run down, PSI will drop, and then it won't kick back on to fill back up. Mine's about 40, 60. So I have the water running down right now. And at 40 it should kick back on and come back up, but it's not. It's dropping all the way down to 0, and then 30 seconds to a minute later, then it kicks on. So I think, see this black hose right here running down, I believe it's clogged up. It's going to be your pressure sensor hose, and it looks like it just screws in right there. It's a brass fitting, and it goes up here to the top to another brass fitting. And it's kind of a older style well pump on top of the ground, not submergible, but even submergible ones will have some kind of pressure valve somewhere. And here's my bladder tank. I changed it out a couple years ago. The bladder busted on the inside. So, all right, I'm gonna get my tools together and we're gonna take that hose off, that little black hose, and finish draining the water out and see if we can find our problem. All right, looks like hopefully all of the tools I'm gonna need today are right here. Screwdriver to clean the pipe out, and these. I'm just gonna unhook it here and unhook it down there at the bottom, and that should be our problem. All right, I just took my tube off, and I suspected it would be the bottom one. Here's the top one. It looks pretty clean. It has some tape there in it, but the other end, I'll show you this. It's full of rust and deposits. A lot of times they'll get clogged up. My phone won't focus there, but there you go. See how this is? It's a bunch of rust. The only water was going through the little bitty hole right there. And on the other end, let me show you where it came off on the pipe. If you'll be able to see it, it's right there, and there's some rust deposits in there as well. So clean that out, clean that side out, clean your tube out, and then put it back on. Should be it. It's pretty tight for me to get the flashlight in here, but you can kind of see what we're dealing with. There's some rust way down in there, but I don't think it's going to cause any problem for what we want it for. So I stuck a screwdriver down in there. It did have some rust in there, and I just poked through the hole of the rust. And look, the last little bit of pressure that was in there starting to shoot out. So make sure that it's cleaned in there as well. All right, here's the end of that was so bad. I was able to clean that out. I cleaned the other end out while we had it. And this is all it is, just this kind of a hard plastic, rigid hose. Next time you're at hardware store, pick up you a foot or two of it to have here at the house. What I'm worried about is when I put it back on, I'm gonna screw the bottom end, but then when I screw the top end, this hose doesn't spin on this brass fitting, so it's just going to keep twisting and twisting. So I'm going to twist the other way for a while, just so that when I start twisting back, maybe I can get to about straight. You can see it's still leaking in there a little bit, still had a little bit of pressure on that. Alright, I got the bottom screwed back in, went in pretty good. Make sure you put Teflon tape on it. I don't know if I remember saying that, but this is the part I was talking about. The cord is loose, and it goes right into the bottom right here. And what happens is when it activates, when it sees pressure, bam, it cuts this pressure switch on, and then activates the well, which then fills up the bladder tank. So I'm worried about if I start screwing here, this is just going to start spinning. So I'm going to spin the wrong way for a little while. It's hard to do one-handed, but I'm going to spin the wrong way. And then I'm going to put it up into the bottom of this and then screw it on. So hopefully by the time it goes around 3 or 4 times, it'll be back to about where there's no kink or twist in the hose. And then we'll see how it goes. I'll cut it back on then. I thought it was going to happen, but I'll show you that it's not all that terribly bad. See my hose, you can tell there's a little bit of a twist in it. It didn't kink anywhere, but I didn't twist it backwards far enough. So again, just to recap everything we did, make sure that your power's off, and if you don't feel comfortable doing it, messing with the electricity, just get somebody else to do it. But we have our power off right here. We turned our power off down here, and here's our switch. I changed it just a few years ago. Still have the box here, and it is from there. But we'll have let's turn it back on, see what happens. This is my first run, so you'll be able to see same time I do whether I did a good job. All right, there it went. Cut on automatically by itself. Jumped straight up to 60 pounds, holding there while it's filling up. And it wasn't doing that before, so I guess that's good news. While that's filling up, I'll just recap. All it really took me was screwdriver, decibel pliers here, and tape and flashlight, and about under 30 minutes from start to finish. So hopefully that'll save you just a little bit of money. All right, before I go, a couple people asked me what kind of pump I had. This is an older pump, probably been here more than 20 years. It's old Sears multi-stage jet pump, 1 horsepower, 40 to 60 pressure. And I don't know if it's, and it just leads to this bladder tank that's over here. Diaphragm tank. All right, thank you everybody. If you have any questions, you can post them below, but I just do it yourself, or I don't. Not an expert by any means, but I like to get out here and try it before I'll pay somebody to come in and fix it. All right, good luck.